DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. This week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, a time to celebrate and appreciate those on the other end when you dial 911. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, DeWitt County CENTCOM coordinator Karen Clevenger told the Heart Media Group that she and local first responders have been celebrating the county's dispatchers this week.
It is Public Safety Telecommunications Week. So all across the nation, everybody is celebrating 911 dispatchers and all the technicians that go in to help all of the dispatchers get their job done. So it's been exciting. So last night, Kenny Fire Department bought the dispatcher some Sorrentos for dinner, and we've gotten some special big treats from staff and companies that we contact if we need any air medical transport. So yeah, it's been great, and it's done nationwide. So they're celebrating at all of the 911 centers this week. And so I want to say thank you to all of CENTCOM dispatchers and then all of Piatt County dispatchers, because Piatt County is our backup center.
Right.
So we couldn't do our job if it wasn't for them, because they back us up in times when we're busy or in times where our technology goes down. So we couldn't do it without them.
Emergency dispatchers are often considered the unseen heroes of emergency response, and Clevenger says their job has changed a lot in recent years. While it may seem like a dispatcher's job is to just ask questions and follow a script, they are gathering crucial information that could mean life or death.
They are. But throughout the years, their role has become more and more important. And that leads us to the state of Illinois has said that emergency medical dispatchers, so 911 dispatchers that are certified by the state to ask medical questions, are a first responder of a medical emergency.
Right.
And so we start that continuum of care. So we're kind of, the medical professional that you're going to be talking to and asking questions and talking about the situation that you have. So, and at CENTCOM, so we're located in the Sheriff's Department. So we handle, if citizens come up to our window and are needing something after hours, we also have a live feed over to the Clinton Police Department, to their lobby. So we're paying attention to that. And then we answer the phone lines for Farmer City Police Department. And then also we have a nuclear power plant in this community. So we are always in communication with their staff to make sure that our community is safe. So we have that. And then also, since we're located in the Sheriff's Department, we help the corrections officers by lowering and raising the Sally Port doors, like when a prisoner is brought in, transported out. So they are multifaceted.
Clevenger is asking anyone with a dispatcher or other form of public safety telecommunicator in their life to thank them and celebrate them this week for all the work they do in keeping the community safe. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Lincoln Police Chief discusses annual spring increase in property crimes. Over the weekend, from the Heart Media Group, a local financial advisor covered an uptick in scams related to fraudulent checks. Connie Miller with the DeWitt Savings Bank reminds that check washing and the printing of fraudulent checks have been increasing recently. She notes that they have even seen it in Clinton and DeWitt County, and it could be stemming from stolen mail.
Fortunately, I'm usually the bearer of bad news, but it's things that we can watch out for and try to prevent in our community. And that's our goal. So it seems like fraud comes in bursts, and it will be the same thing for a while and then move on to the next fraud. And lately, throughout the country, we're seeing check fraud. And we've had it at our bank. And there's different ways they can do it. Some of it is called check washing, where they get a hold of your check and then they wash off using chemicals, maybe the payee, or sometimes they'll put their name as the person who's remitting the check, take your account holder name off, but they use the check to pay for their goods and services. And we've seen some very large dollar amounts on them too. Also, they've started making software so they can create checks. So if they get your bank routing number and your account number, they can create checks that look like they're your check. And so there are ways to prevent this. We don't know how they're getting these checks in the first place, but a lot of people suspect maybe it's your outgoing mail. If you leave a flag up to let the mailman know that you have mail to go out, that's like ripe for thieves to go steal your mail.
As is the case with any conversation about scams, AI is a tool that is making scammers' jobs easier. Miller indicates that checks handed over to someone could be put into artificial intelligence with the intention of creating blank, fraudulent checks.
And that's another thing when you're doing the marketplace. There's so many different ways you can get ripped off. That's one of them. If you bring a check in, you can have a counter check written at most banks. They'll let you do that too. And you can pay in cash because then they don't have your Venmo account too if you're paying that way. And also, some people say just pay me ahead of time, and then they're not there or the item's not there. So look at the reviews for that person. Just determine if this is a legitimate person. If you've purchased from them before, they seem honest, it should be fine. But if not, you might want to wait, meet them, and hand them the cash when you get the item. Like you said, the computer printing now seems to be the most prevalent, but people are getting these out of people's garbage. If you're done with your checks, even if they're canceled checks and they come home with you, they get mailed. If you still get a statement, they get mailed to you. Shred them. Shred everything. Don't keep things. Don't throw things away. People go through your garbage, And with the computerized checks too, they're just taking the numbers off of your checks, like you said, and putting them on a new check. They can do that and print it out.
When it comes to check fraud, Miller notes that unfortunately, the victim is often the retailer, as it is very easy for an employee to accept a fraudulent check that could be worth nothing. She says that the sooner you report the fraud, the less you could be liable for.
In some of the cases that we've seen the fraud, the retailer is the one getting burned because they didn't require any ID. They just took a check. It's fraudulent. If you report it right away, within 2 days of the fraud showing up on your account, that means no more than $50 you're liable for. If it's over that, up to 60 days, it's up to $500 that you could be liable for.
Wow.
So check your accounts. Every bank is different. Every situation is different. And sometimes things are not deemed as fraud if you haven't been careful with your checkbook and you leave it out and a kid, one of your grandkids writes a check.
Right.
That's not fraud. Yeah. Or if you've let them use it before, it could be, I'm not saying it's not fraud, but it could be considered not fraud because you've let them do that before. So secure your mail. There's those blue mailboxes you can put your mail in. Make sure you're using those instead of leaving it on your front porch with the flag up. Put it in a secure mailbox or take it to the post office to drop it off. But also so many banks, including DeWitt Savings, we have online bill pay. You can do all your bill payments right online for free. And it means you either get on your phone or on your computer, and you just have to put in the name of the company that you want to send the money to, your account number, and it will send automatically.
It may seem insignificant, but when writing checks, Miller recommends using a gel pen instead of a ballpoint pen, as ballpoint ink is easier for someone with ill intentions to erase. You are listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Central Illinois authorities annually deal with an increase in property crimes when the weather gets nicer and people are more mobile. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister indicates Lincoln sees this trend too. With more foot traffic and bicycle traffic, there's more opportunity for people to fall victim to a property crime.
Like you mentioned, there's more foot traffic. It's easier to get around. Bicyclists and folks out walking, the vast majority of them are up to exactly what they should be doing and enjoying weather. Some others are out there taking a look around the neighborhood, maybe seeing what they might be able to pick up that isn't theirs, but they would like to keep for themselves. So we're seeing a rise in burglaries like we do every year when the weather warms up. More nighttime traffic, foot traffic, bicycle traffic, like I was talking about. So one of the things that we suggest is obviously strong locks, good lighting, making sure you lock your car doors. That's a huge one. Please don't leave your keys in your unlocked car because you're going to wake up without it if that happens. Just those annual tips that we give every year to protect yourself from being a victim of a property.
Like any property crimes in Lincoln, these are often crimes of opportunity. Chief Meister encourages keeping those doors locked on vehicles and garages and those valuables out of your cars.
Crimes of opportunity, and that's why I said it's so important to make yourself a hard target. Your outbuildings, make sure you lock your sheds after you're done with your mower and you put it up. Those are things that criminals notice, so they're out there looking for it. So you having forgotten to lock up, it creates a opportunity for a person to commit that crime. Loose change, phone chargers, radio theft used to be a big thing when I became a police officer. That's really not so much anymore. Media devices, if you leave your phone or an iPad in the car, those are the types of things that folks are looking for. And then tools. Tools is another big one. It's probably the number one stolen item in the city of Lincoln, are power tools. If you are a person who exercises your Second Amendment right and carries a firearm to protect yourself, please do not leave it in your vehicle at any point in time.
Chief Meister has some tips for how those power tools and electronics could potentially be tracked down, even if they've been stolen. We'll have more on that next week with the chief at the Hart Media Group. A Sangamon County producer has already finished planting his soybean crop in 2026. Jimmy Ayers farms near Rochester.
Well, we started on March 30th and the 31st. We got about 40% of the beans planted. And then April 11th and 12th. No, I'm sorry, the 9th, we did another 25-30% and actually finished our beans yesterday. So whether it's good or bad, they're all in the ground at this point in time. I think the moisture's great. The ground's been dry. They've really went in well. We planted maybe a little deeper, thinking it's warmer at the core of the earth, but we're not feeling any coolness at this point in time. We're staring down a bunch of rain according to the forecast, but they've been wrong more than they've been right, it seems like, on our rain here lately. That is the very earliest I've ever planted beans and been done.
This marks Ayer's 51st year of planting a crop. According to the latest USDA crop progress report, 7% of the state's soybean crop has been planted. This month has been proclaimed Seed Month in Illinois, and Doug Miller serves as Executive Secretary-Treasurer of the Illinois Seed Trade Association.
I like to see the level of confidence and the quality of the seed that is available to farmers and growers, whether they're gardeners or whether they're doing reclamation work. The faith that it takes to plant a seed and have it grow, I think, raising that confidence level is where the seed industry is at. The quality of the seed, the qualities that it carries forward in its genetics, the quantities of seed that are produced so that people have choices. I know that farmers and much of your audience understand that much of our population probably believes that their food comes from a grocery store or from the box, from the jar, from the canister that they buy and pull off the shelf. But in the seed industry, we're a little bit the same. There's just so many hands that touch that, starts with research, collections of diverse seeds, the breeders work with, the people that produce the seed, just the time it takes to bring a new seed variety to market or a new hybrid to market is incredible. And the number of people that touch it and work with it is just phenomenal. So I think it shines a spotlight. April is a seed month on those people, and everyone from people that wear lab coats to people that have boots on the ground, so to speak. So everything from laboratories to agronomists and seed analysts in our seed labs and things like that.
The Illinois Seed Trade Association represents seed producers, processors, distributors, and retailers across the state. Thinking about planting a tree in honor of Arbor Day or Earth Day? Some advice from University of Illinois Extension horticulture educator Ken Johnson.
Planting trees, there's some common mistakes people make that kind of cause our trees not to live as long as they probably should. One of the biggest things is people are planting trees too deeply. A lot of times if you are getting trees in pots, those trees in the pots are already too deep. So you don't necessarily want to plant them kind of at the soil line where they're at in the pot. You want to pull away that potting mix and try to find that root flare, kind of where the trunk kind of starts flaring out into the roots. So think about like when a kid draws a tree, it's not just a stick. Usually they flare them out at the bottom. So when you're planting that, you want to make sure that root flare is above the soil line. So it should have that nice flare. It should not look like a telephone pole going into the ground. That's probably one of the most common mistakes people make when they're planting trees. Another one is trees growing in pots. A lot of times they have circling roots, and those aren't straightened out or cut or something. You want to make sure those trees that are pot bound, make sure you're straightening out those circling roots or cutting them so your trees aren't girdling themselves down the road. That's another common reason that plants or trees don't survive as long as they potentially could. And kind of another thing is after you get them planted, make sure you mulch around the tree. Grass is a kind of a big competitor with trees that have fibrous root system. They take up a lot of water and nutrients where the tree roots can get it. So putting down mulch around the tree, keeping away that competition so they can get that moisture, get those nutrients from the soil, will help them in the long run. Just make sure you're not piling up the mulch on the trunk of the tree, which is another common problem. That your mulch ring should look like a donut, not a muffin. It shouldn't be piled up on the trunk of the tree. Pull it away from the trunk.
Plenty of tree planting resources are available online at extension.illinois.edu. Earth Day is April 22nd and Arbor Day is April 24th. Buying a car always comes with some risks, but the Better Business Bureau says drivers should be aware before driving off the lot this time of year. Don O'Brien, a scam investigator at the BBB, says consumers should ask specific questions about the car's history and consider an independent inspection before purchasing.
Facebook Marketplace is a great place to go for scammers like to put like classic cars. Let's say that you want a 57 Chevy or a Thunderbird from the back in the day or whatever it might be. And people get hooked into those. And what they do is they they'll send tens of thousands of dollars. They'll wire money to purchase a vehicle sight unseen. So we want you to avoid all of those traps. Again, like I said a minute ago, we want you to touch and feel that vehicle. You want to take a test drive. If you're in the market for a used car, a lot of new car sales lots have their used programs where they do how many point inspection. Certified used cars is what they sometimes call them. Those are great, but you also might, for your own peace of mind, take that vehicle to a mechanic that you trust and and have him or her look over that vehicle. So that way you kind of get a second opinion before you even purchase it. And a legitimate car lot is going to allow you to do that. They're obviously going to allow you to take a test drive. They will also allow you to take that vehicle to your own mechanic for an hour or so they can look it over, so they can give it a clean bill of health too.
According to O'Brien, drivers should always check bbb.org to determine if a dealership is certified. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Hoping to extend the soon-to-expire U.S.-Iran ceasefire, Pakistan's army chief acting as a mediator is in Tehran, where he has met with the Iranian parliament speaker. The meeting comes as the U.S. tightens the screws on Iran with a naval blockade of Iranian ports. Russia hammered civilian areas of Ukraine overnight, launching hundreds of missiles and dozens of drones. At least 16 people killed, scores more wounded. President Trump will be heading west today, highlighting his taxpayer-friendly policies. He'll visit Las Vegas, where his no tax on tips policy has been a big hit. A New York jury has ruled that Ticketmaster and Live Nation held an anti-competitive monopoly over big concert venues. Live Nation vows to appeal the verdict. The Dow futures 45 points higher. NASDAQ futures are up 44 points. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Monticello delivered a dominant all-around performance using a huge early offensive surge to power past Clinton in an 11-1 victory. After a quiet top of the first from Clinton, Monticello wasted no time taking control in the bottom half. Taking advantage of timely hitting and defensive miscues, Monticello erupted for a big inning that quickly created separation on the scoreboard. The early offensive explosion proved to be more than enough as Monticello continued to apply pressure throughout the game. Monticello finished with 11 runs on 11 hits, showcasing both consistency and depth throughout the lineup. Sadie Walsh led the charge with a standout performance, going 3 for 4 with an RBI and multiple runs scored. Madison Highland was equally impactful, collecting 2 hits and driving in a pair while also contributing in the circle. Allie Widener added a strong day at the plate with 2 hits, while Annie Robinson chipped in with a hit and an RBI. Reese Steiger and Thea Key also contributed offensively, with Key scoring twice and helping set the tone at the top of the lineup. Clinton, meanwhile, struggled to generate sustained offense against Monticello's pitching duo. The team managed just 3 hits on the day, with Humble accounting for the lone RBI. Fentress delivered one of the few bright spots offensively, recording a hit and driving in a run, while Nichols added another base hit. Despite showing some early promise, stringing together extra base hits in the first inning to plate their only run, Clinton was unable to build momentum. Monticello's defense tightened up after that initial frame, shutting down any potential rallies. In circle, Cassidy Stolfel earned the win for Monticello, striking out 8 over 3 innings while allowing just 2 hits and 1 run. Highland came in relief and was equally effective, tossing 2 scoreless innings and striking out 3 to secure the victory. Clinton's Haynes battled through 4 innings but ran into trouble against Monticello's aggressive lineup. The right-hander allowed 11 runs, 5 earned, on 10 hits while working through constant traffic on the bases. Defensively, errors proved costly for Clinton, extending innings and allowing Monticello to capitalize in key moments. Monticello, on the other hand, played a cleaner game overall, backing up its pitching with solid defense. With the win, Monticello showcased its ability to combine timely hitting, disciplined pitching, and opportunistic play, an encouraging sign as the team continues its season. Clinton will look to regroup and tighten up defensively as they prepare for their next matchup. Mount Pulaski leaned on a dominant performance from Luke Martin and took advantage of a late Clinton error to slip past the Maroons 2-1 in a tightly played matchup. Runs were hard to come by all game while both pitchers controlled the pace. Mount Pulaski broke through first in the 4th inning, bringing Preston Cohen home on a 1-0 lead. Clinton answered in the 6th when Josh Bass delivered a clutch RBI double to right field, scoring Jack Manning and tying things up at 1. The game turned in the bottom half of the 6th with pressure building. Luke Martin came around to score on an error, giving the Hilltoppers a 2-1 lead they would not give back. On the mound, it was a true pitcher's duel. Martin was outstanding for Mount Pulaski, throwing a complete game while allowing just 2 hits and 1 run, striking out 10. Clinton's Brock Wilson was just as strong, going 6 innings with 10 strikeouts, allowing 4 hits and 2 runs. 1 was earned. Mount Pulaski made just enough plays late to secure the win in a game defined by pitching and timely execution. The Normal West Wildcats used an 8-run second inning to rout the Urbana Tigers by a final score of 12-1 in 5 innings of Big 12 Conference high school baseball action in Urbana. Mason Aislinger was hit by a pitch, and Bryson Edwards walked to start the top of the 2nd for Normal West. They were both brought home by a single from Charlie Hanks to make it 2-0. The Wildcats then capitalized on an Urbana error to make it 3-0, followed by a single from Jasper Pomus and a double from Sam McCulley to make it 5-0 with 2 outs. Back-to-back triples from Ty Backman and Aislinger made it 7-0 before Edwards was brought home on a walk. The Tigers stole a run back in the home half of the inning when Malik Lawrence stole home on a passed ball to make it 8-1. A Jaden Floyd double scored Chase Reinhardt and Jack Stiddinger to grow the Normal West lead to 10-1, and Backman singled in Floyd and Pomus from there for the final tally. Backman led the Wildcats with a 2-for-4 outing, including 2 RBIs and a run scored. Aislinger was 1 for 3, but scored twice and batted in 1. Edwards was the only Normal West batter to not record a hit. He walked twice and scored once. Drake Rumps pitched 5 innings of 1-run ball for the Wildcats, allowing just 2 hits and striking out 8. Alden Bridges and Curtis Kennedy recorded the lone hits for the Tigers, each with a 1-for-2 performance. Isaac Armstrong twirled 2.2 innings, allowing 4 runs on 5 hits and striking out 1, and recorded 1 walk. With the win, Normal West improves to 10-5 and 4-0 in the Big 12. Urbana falls to 2-10 overall and 0-4 in conference play. Junior Caminero, Jake Fraley, and Johnny DeLuca homered, and the Tampa Bay Rays pounded the Chicago White Sox 8-3 on Wednesday night for their 5th straight win.
For the second straight night, a highly anticipated prospect made his major league debut and gave Sox fans a glimpse of what's to come in the future here at right field when Sam Antonacci made it to the show.
The 0-1 hit in the air out into right and coming on and not getting there is Fraley. It's a base hit. Antonacci with a bloop single. He's 1 for 1. Take it any way you can get it. Big swing, soft contact. That kind of froze Fraley out there as he started cutting across toward the foul line and then realized he had to get in.
The Sox dropped their second straight to the Rays and will try to salvage a game from the series on Thursday afternoon. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 12:30 on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
Tampa Bay's Steven Matz and Chicago's Anthony Kay get the ball in a matchup between left-handers to close the 3-game series. Nathan Church had 3 hits, Alec Burleson had 2 RBIs, and Jordan Walker extended his hitting streak to 11 games as the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Cleveland Guardians 5-3 on Wednesday. Dustin May allowed 1 run on 6 hits and a walk and had 4 strikeouts in 6 innings. And Riley O'Brien pitched a perfect 9th to earn his 5th save and help St. Louis win its 2nd straight game. Slade Caccione allowed 1 run on 3 hits, but surrendered a career-high 5 walks and threw 87 pitches in 4 innings for Cleveland, which lost consecutive games for the first time this season. J.J. Weatherholt lined a sac fly to center field off Tim Herron after Connor Brogdon walked Victor Scott II to load the bases in the 6th inning, and Burleson hit a 2-run single up the middle to pull St. Louis ahead 4-1. Church pulled an RBI double down the right field line in the bottom of the 7th inning after Bo Naylor lined a 2-run double off Justin Bruihl in the top of the 7th to cut Cleveland's deficit to 4-3. Guardians DH Jose Ramirez fouled the first pitch he saw in the 6th inning off his right shin and was down for several minutes before finishing his at-bat and grounding into a double play. In the first inning, Ramirez grounded into a fielder's choice in his franchise record 6,040th career at-bat to break Nap Lahoy's 112-year-old record. Walker lined a double to left field in the 8th inning to extend his hitting streak. The Guardians' left-handed pitcher Parker Messick will oppose Baltimore right-handed pitcher Shane Baz to open a 7-game homestand Thursday night, while Cardinals right-handed pitcher Kyle Leahy will start against the Houston Astros, who have not named a starter, Friday night to open a 6-game road trip. Nico Horner drove in a career-high 5 runs. Shoto Imanaga struck out 11 in 6 strong innings, and the Chicago Cubs routed the Philadelphia Phillies 11-2 on Wednesday night. Dansby Swanson homered, and Matt Shaw had 3 doubles and a pair of RBIs for the Cubs, who pounded out 15 hits to take the rubber match of a 3-game set. Trea Turner and Bryce Harper homered for Philadelphia. Imanaga allowed 3 hits and walked 1. Chicago went in front for good with 3 runs in the 3rd inning off Jesus Luzardo. Horner's bloop single scored Shaw from second, tying the game at 1-1 after Alex Bregman walked. Horner and Bregman executed a double steal. Horner reached home when catcher JT Realmuto's throw went into left field. Bregman advanced to third on an error and scored on Luzardo's wild pitch. After Horner's 2-run shot to left center in the 5th gave the Cubs a 4-run lead, Chicago tacked on 4 more runs in the 6th. Shaw's 2-run double ended the night for Luzardo, and Horner capped the scoring with a 2-run single against lefty reliever Kyle Bacchus. Luzardo was battered for 9 runs, 8 earned on 12 hits in 5 1/3 innings, raising his ERA to 7.94. Imanaga settled after surrendering Turner's homer to lead off the game. Philadelphia's Kyle Schwarber went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts to end his on-base streak at 15 consecutive games. The Cubs return home to face the Mets for 3 games, beginning on Friday afternoon when Cubs right-handed pitcher Edward Cabrera faces Mets right-handed pitcher Kodai Senga. Defenseman Louis Crevier scored twice in the final period. Ryan Green and Nick Lardis also added third-period goals. And the Chicago Blackhawks rallied in their season finale to beat the San Jose Sharks 5-2 on Wednesday night. Crevier, with the first multi-goal game of his career, tied the game at 2 by converting a backhand pass from Connor Bedard 3 minutes and 51 seconds into the period, then added an insurance goal on a 60-foot slap shot midway through the period. Green scored his 12th of the season between Crevier's goals, beating Sharks goaltender Yaroslav Askarov from the slot at 8 minutes and 35 seconds. Bedard also set up Lardis' goal. The Blackhawks won 4 of their last 15 games and 3 of their last 11 games, but finished with 72 points, 11 more than last season. San Jose is 32 points ahead of last year's pace with a game remaining. San Jose's Mario Ferrero opened the scoring with a wrist shot that deflected off the left skate of Chicago defenseman Ethan Del Mastro 8 minutes and 9 seconds into the first. About 5 minutes after a Sharks goal was wiped out by a delayed offside, Michael Misa made it 2-0 with a shot from the crease that hit Del Mastro's stick, caroming a behind goaltender Spencer Knight. Knight made 15 saves. Askarov made 19. Chicago cut the gap to 2-1 on defenseman Sam Renzel's shot from the left wing corner with 30 seconds left in the second period. Earlier, Chicago's Ilya Mikheyev was stopped on a penalty shot. Before the game, the Blackhawks extended the contract of general manager Kyle Davidson, who is completing his 4th year in the post. The Sharks close their season with a visit to Winnipeg on Thursday. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Baltimore Orioles 8-5 in 10 innings, while the Boston Red Sox took down the Minnesota Twins 9-5. The Detroit Tigers beat the Kansas City Royals 2-1, while the Cincinnati Reds took down the San Francisco Giants 8-3. The Pittsburgh Pirates shut out the Washington Nationals 2-0, while the New York Yankees beat the LA Angels 5-4. The Atlanta Braves beat the Miami Marlins 6-3, and the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Toronto Blue Jays 2-1. The Houston Astros took down the Colorado Rockies 3-1, while the San Diego Padres beat the Seattle Mariners 7-6. The Athletics took down the Texas Rangers 6-5, and the LA Dodgers beat